Well, good morning, everyone. I hope that your morning is off to a great start. It's time for that Monday morning recap of our Sunday morning services. And this past Sunday was Palm Sunday, and we had really a convicting message on recognizing that Jesus is the King, but he's a King that is beyond expectation. And I think it's important that we get our Bibles to John chapter number 12. And I'm not going to be able to recap the whole thing because there's just too much of it to really consider. But I want to consider the first few verses, really 3 through 8, where we find out about Mary's worship exceeding all expectations. And listen, the actions that she will take in our passage are incredible. I think about Jesus is sitting at a table with Lazarus and the disciples, and they're having a conversation. And then Mary walks up with her bottle of ointment, and she breaks that bottle of ointment onto Jesus' feet and wipes it with her hair. And it's just a beautiful scene of truly beyond expectations kind of worship. In fact, let me read the passage to you, and then you be the judge for yourself. I'm going to start with verse number 3. This is this. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. And it's really an incredible moment because she not only just washes his feet, and she doesn't just use her hair to wash his feet. Even Jesus is going to point out in just a moment that this was a special moment of her anointing him for his burial. But what it was for Mary was her chance to express how much she understood her salvation. See, true worship is costly and it's personal. I think that we've depersonalized and we've tried to make it less expensive to worship the Lord, or to feel like we've worshiped the Lord. And so, listen, her worship had grown to a place. This wasn't like she got saved and she did this. Mary got saved years earlier, and maybe even as much as 3 years earlier, early on in Jesus' ministry. And it's taken her to this point to get to that place where she grew into her worship. She didn't just get saved and that's as far as it went and no worship ever happened any more or any less. She didn't just fall into going to church on Sunday and singing 3 songs and hearing a message and then leaving. She got to a place where she understood the nature of who Jesus was and is and what it had done for her. Her worship grew to a place where she was ready to go bigger than she or even anyone else had gone before. And she wanted to take her worship to a level that was worthy. Her salvation had led her to this place. It wasn't something that someone said, oh, what you should really do is do this. You know, she had worked, and many have speculated that maybe she was a prostitute before Jesus met her and pulled her out of that. And maybe she earned her the money to buy this with that trade, and she was able to buy this ointment, but now she felt like this needs to be poured out to him. He delivered me from this. And so this aroma is going to be put at his feet because it's going to be by his pain and his suffering that I'm delivered from all of this mess in my previous life. I have a new life now. And see, listen, worship is supposed to go like that. She went beyond anyone's expectations of worship. Listen, worship is something we grow more increasingly bold in until we're with him. But what's important to understand is that worship is not going to be received by everyone. And that's why we have to be careful that we don't put any limits on our worship. I think that a lot of people are very limited on what they will do in the area of worship. They will go to church, they will put money in the offering plate, they will stay for such amount of time, and every once in a while they may serve, but they are certainly not going to embarrass themselves. They're not going to do anything that would make them look silly or different. And so understanding this, that true worship is often misunderstood. Her worship that day at that table, Judas, the one that was going to betray Jesus in just a matter of hours or days, he wanted that money that ointment sold to be given to the poor, money given to the poor. But he didn't care about the poor. Yet Jesus understood what she was doing. She was giving her very best because he was worthy of our very best. So don't allow your worship to be hindered. Don't allow anything to hold you back. Let your worship exceed the expectations of those around you. Not because you want them to see your excessive worship or exceeding worship, but because Jesus is truly worth it all. If you want to know more about this message, check us out on Facebook or YouTube. Our page is there for the Journey Baptist Church. Because I want you to hear the whole message, because I think it'll be very encouraging to you, maybe even a little bit convicting. And I really hope that this is going to help you as you navigate this year's Holy Week. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday. And I hope that you have made plans to drop everything else so that you can worship the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He's a king that is way beyond any expectation. Have a great day.